Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to start something a bit different. I'm going to talk about why I love a certain faction that I've been playing. I'm not going to pretend this is a tactical masterclass because I can't do that sort of thing. I'm sure there's plenty more things on Google that can help you out more than that. But I want to talk about a faction that I enjoy, why I enjoy it, show some pictures about them because I know that it can be hard to know what models are what in Infinity. You know, they all look like wearing wetsuits sometimes or the same power armour to people who aren't used to it at least. So I'm going to start with a faction I've been playing for a while, and that is the JSA. So let's go. Screen wipe. Does that work? So first of all, reason number one why I like them is swords. I was attracted towards the fact that they have a lot of melee attacks in a game that's basically range based. Now I've got to say that JSA aren't going to do a huge amount of close combat, probably more than most factions. Looking at you, Pano, but they aren't going to do much. I think I probably maybe have one melee attack a game, maybe not even that. But the option's there, and you can of course approach the enemy, and they know you're good at it, and that will affect their game plan. Looking at two profiles that really caught my eye when I first started playing it. First of all, of course, it's the Domaru. They are basically your samurai types, heavy armour. They're very quick, 6'2", as is common for heavy armour, and of course they all have martial arts 3 and CC24. And they're also armed with some pretty decent weapons that I'll go into in a later reason. I don't often take a full core of them. I take at least one or two of them though, and they're always fun. And when they get close up to something, they can tear them apart. The second one with swords I want to point out to you is the Tanko. The Tanko are kind of like a bargain basement Domaru really. They're impetuous and they're much cheaper in price. But again, they're also pretty good at CC. And not only that, but they also have mono weapons, which of course can auto kill a model if they fail a damage 12 roll, which can be a bit swingy, but it can be hilarious if you manage to pull it off. That's the reason number one is swords. Melee attacks are fun, they can be a bit filly to pull off, but it can be very satisfying when you chop someone's tag in half with a sword. Reason number two is Karakuri. Despite looking like some kind of nightmare from a Ghibli film on with a machine gun, they are superb pieces. They are a real sort of tip of the spear in Harris Fire Team. See the profile should be appearing on the screen somewhere here, somewhere. They are superb at shooting, partially because they have a BS of 13, which is pretty high in JSA. I think it's probably the highest in JSA, and also they've got structure 3 and immune total, so they can take a lot of hits. They can shrug off explosive rounds and arm piercing rounds. They've got a really good BTS as well. That total immunity of course means they're immune to flash pulses and the like, so they are really hard to take out. Also you can put in a fighting with them an engineer, which I'll show you later on as well, which can be really useful indeed. I wouldn't take more than one. They're quite expensive points wise, but I think they're cracking. They always seem to do well for me, and they always seem to be able to shoot at a range that they aren't expecting. They have some good weapon options. They can have boarding shotguns, Mark 12s and the like, as well as Panzerfausts, and I think they're superb. So, especially now the new sculpts are out, they're quite thin, but they are superb models as well. So I think they're well worth their place in a JSA team. So that's reason number two. Now for reason number three. So reason number three is not subscribing. Is that the best we've got for a reason? I mean, that's kind of from a slide from the last show. Well, that's what we've got. It doesn't really make any sort of sense in terms of grammar, but you should subscribe because I like it. Really, that's what I've got. Reason number four is EM weapons. I love EM weapons. They are superb. I mean, obviously they're good against heavy infantry and tags and remotes and hackers because it isolates them, and it can immobilise them as well. But I think isolation itself is so good. It is a real problem to people's teams because it gives them a horrible penalty to the reset rolls. It locks their orders out, and it can really mess up with their plans. And they have quite a few of them in JSA. The Domaru have EM grenades and also, excitingly, EMCC, which makes their weapons pretty dangerous in close combat. They really can carve through someone with them. if they don't just kill them outright, they might isolate them anyway. So I think they're superb for that. And I love EM grenades. I love spec firing them over. They've got physique of 14, which means you could probably do a decent spec fire with them. And they really can interfere with people's plans, especially if you can't close the gap and they've got someone holding an area down that you can't approach. For example, maybe a tag with a good guidance specifier or something like that, and you haven't got a hacker nearby. I really like them in terms of what they can do. Also, the sort of character Adomaru, who is Takeshi Nekayama, you often will take him because he's quite a good model. He's got tactical awareness as well, good in a fire team. And again, he has EM grenades too, as well as the MCC. So I really like them. I wouldn't take JSA without any EM at all. I think it's really good at a pinch. Finally, the Tankos have them. The Tankos I mentioned to you previously, here's the full profile now. They have Blitzens, which kind of limited number of shots, EM weapons. And Tankos are so cheap. You're looking at sort of 18 points for a Tanko with an EM weapon and a shotgun. So I think you can have lots of EM in there, and it really can act as sort of a control element to your team, so I think it's really good. Finally, it's bikes. Now we have the new ITS season. It's going to be bikes absolutely everywhere, whether you want them or not. And I really like bikes. I love them from their speed, obviously, because they're bikes. And I like them for the fact that they can just kind of catch your opponent unawares. I'm pretty bad at actually holding onto my bikes rather than zooming them forward. But I think with the new ITS changes, they can be even better because it's really a good choice in some respects to pick the non-impetuous version to give them cover. It really adds to their survivability. They get mimetism too. Some bikes in JSA have mimetism, but they don't all have that. First of all, we've got Yojimbo here. I've mentioned him in previous videos, the top 5s that were written by a computer. He is a piece I think I've taken in practically every game because it's fast. He is horrifyingly cheap. He's good at CC. He's got crazy koalas as well. And now, to add to that, he'll have mimetism, which I think is superb. With him, I'd probably give him cover and give him impetuous. With him, it's not so clear because he's not great at orders anyway, because of course he's irregular. Certainly, with the other choices, I would do that. Kuroshi Rider is quite a good lieutenant. Because she's very flexible, she's a specialist, she's got smoke grenades, she's okay at CC, not superb for most JSA, but still on the bike's pretty handy, a great range of weapons, and taking her as an LT can kind of counteract that loss of impetuous order. You might think an LT biker could be kind of vulnerable, but then JSA have quite good access to chain of command. They have Kenbatai, which can go in practically any fire team. And again, they're quite cheap. I take at least one normally, Kenbatai anyway. And so having chain of command isn't particularly hard for JSA to get, which means you can have quite an aggressive lieutenant, which is really good for them. Finally, we have the Arigato themselves. They have a great range of options. Now you can have, of course, Killer Hacker, Arigato, disguising themselves with Cyber Mask. You can have an Arigato Hacker just running forward and doing a hacking thing. I want to give more of a try to the Arigato with the Spitfire, especially now they can take cover. They have mimetism anyway, but I think cover will mean you can sort of hold on to them sort of turn 2, turn 3 and try and get into a position where you can shoot people in the back with them and reduce incoming fire back. So I think the loss of the order for them isn't a huge deal because hopefully they'll be around later on in the game anyway, and it means they really can capitalise upon a good face-to-face roll, or maybe even just shooting someone in the back and not even reacting to it if you're lucky, but that's probably hard to get. And that's my 5 tips. I've got a fire team idea now, if you'll indulge me. You can't really avoid it. We can close the video if you want to, I guess. Don't do that. I've got a fire team I want to show you, which is here, and this has taken into account some of the changes to the bikes. I haven't gone meme crazy and had all the bikes in the world, which I'm sure some people will do. So I'll go through what I've got. So basically, I've got a Harris 5 team here with a Karakuri in it as my sort of my shooting part. I've got Oyama in there for kind of closer encounters. I'm not a huge fan of his chain rifle, but I'm a fan of his EM grenades. And of course, I've got Yuriko Oda in there as well. Now, Yuriko, she is an engineer. She has a lot of weapons as well, and so she is there to help the Karakuri and the armor if they get hacked and immobilized because they have infantry, and also to, of course, heal the Karakuri. The Karakuri is hard to kill anyway. With Yuriko, makes it even harder, and of course they can move forward and do objectives from there. And then they've got Yojimbo in the main group there, of course, because he's great at moving forward, very flexible for controlling board states with koalas, and of course getting in the way. Kuroshi Rider Lieutenant, as mentioned before, I probably have that Kuroshi Rider Lieutenant hanging back till turn 2, turn 3 to try and capitalise upon a gap in the line, and of course that bonus order I'll use fairly freely. An Arigato Spitfire, same idea, try and find a hole, turn to 3, and machine gun them with Spitfire rounds. And then I've got a smaller fire team here. It's only a 3-person fire team, not a full one, but I don't mind that so much in JSA. I don't mind having two 3-man fire teams in JSA, rather than all eggs in a basket 5-person one. So I've got 2 Kempai here. One's got chain of command to, of course, allow the Arigato. Sorry, my mistake. The Kuroshi Rider to go more forward. I've got a Kempai here with an MSV2. I've got some smoke in this list. I've got the Kuroshi Rider, and I've also got Yojimbo with smoke grenades, and I've got MSV2 in this list twice with a shot marksman rifle first of all, and the Rushi further down has MSV2 as well with a Spitfire. So basically, I've got 2 MSV2s and 2 smoke sources, which I think is pretty good. Of course, doing the whole sort of you can't see me and I can now shoot you sort of tricks. I've got on a Bawan. I haven't mentioned them much today because I wanted to get this video out and go through kind of brief points, but they have hidden deployment, they have great close combat, and JSA lack parachutists and ways of reaching out and touching someone really, so they can kind of help out with that with infiltration and get forward and take out key pieces early game by appearing from the shadows and hidden deployment. I've got a Pangolin Eva Hacker that is going to be there to both allow my Rushi to ignore cover with its Spitfires that also now ignore limited -6, so superb at ignoring practically all my fives to hit, and also I can put up firewalls to fairy dust to prevent my Karakuri from being hacked easily, and finally a flashpulse bot because it's a flashpulse bot. You might see here with JSA, you don't often have full SWC usage. They just don't seem to have much of it. They often have it to spare, which is great. So that's JSA in some minutes. I don't know how long it's going to be, this video, because I'm recording this before I edit it, because I couldn't do it the other way around, because that wouldn't make sense. So it's in some minutes. Hopefully it's had some key points to you. I haven't covered the whole faction. There are some great YouTube videos about it elsewhere, which I'll try and link in the show notes. And that's JSA. I want to talk about other factions I love in the future. If you like the video, please let me know and write it in the comments underneath. Well, this is a bit of paper, but pretend it's paper, but on the screen that you write on with a keyboard, not with a pen, because that wouldn't work. And that's me done. So I'll see you later. Cheers. Do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, I'll make you one. Hang on. Sugar? It's Yorkshire, alright? It's good tea. Is that okay with you? Yeah? Okay, hang on. Did you want sugar? No, you didn't. Okay, well, okay. I'll leave it here for you. And have it when you're ready. Alright? Cheers.